You're the architect of all of this. You do know that, don't you?
I definitely know that. And those in the know that.
So let's start with this before we get into your views on both fighters. Who wins this?
Chris Eubank Jr.
Too big, too strong?
Too big, too strong.
So let's get into both fighters. What does Ben bring to the table?
Tenacity, excitement, youth, really important here because obviously the advent of social media is going to make a big difference. It's everybody expressing opinions. You know, I believe je crois, I think the French pronunciation is. On here, when you talk about, you know, the only thing that could be more crucial and vital to defend is if somebody was bad-mouthing your mama jokes came and spread through, you know, social media, and we saw the effect that they had. And on here, I'm amazed I never heard any reference to that, but we did hear reference to their dads, family honour, this, that, and the other. I don't get involved in fights and things like that. I mean, physical on the street, but I have been known to, as people may well tell you.
I know.
Okay. But they've all come as a result of somebody harmed my sister or my brother or whatever. And they're non-thinking. You know, you just go and do what you're going to do. So on here, you've got two minds, one set against the other. And it isn't about when you feel like giving up, when you think perhaps this is a journey too far, because you are defending your family name and the credibility. And that's going to make this a really, really intriguing fight.
Thought Eubank said some interesting things about the weight, getting it out there from early so everybody knows he's going to have to drop considerably and he can't rehydrate. The rehydration clause surprised me, especially with the potential for this to be a grueling fight.
Yeah, but you must never, there's something that you know, those of you who are young in the tooth, forget. Ben Eubank 1 was about dehydration and rehydration. Chris Eubank came in to do the check weighing on the day of the fight, and he was 6¼ pounds overweight. Just incredulity is a word that springs to mind to perhaps explain how I felt. And then the things that you have to do, it's agonizing to try to get down. You can be as much as ½ pound. You know, I remember reciting to myself 16 grams, 1 ounce, 16 ounces, 1 pound. And it's over the years, it's always carried me. Had Nigel not had to go through that, you know, and such dramatic weight loss, he would have won the first fight. That caused his face to swell up, the eyes swollen. But they're not excuses, they're reasons. And that's what you've got to look for in this fight.
I don't think I've seen Eubank as calm as this. He really thinks this is in the bag.
It's early.
I know there's a couple months to promote. It's the first press conference. I get all of that.
His dad gets here, and then wait till Nigel comes. Nigel's on the rave.
But I'm waiting for him when he gets hungry and he's got to do a press conference and then stand in line for 10 interviews that are going to ask the same questions. And that's when we'll see the true Eubank. But in terms of just how he's approaching this, he put a lot out there today, which I thought was quite significant. It's a great payday for Ben. I don't really give Ben a chance of winning this fight. Is that where we are? Is it?
I give him a chance. You know why? Because he's a 24/7, 365 athlete, and this is because, remember, this is not going to be set behind a plan. Let's work behind the jab, etc., etc. It's going. Let's just go for it. They're going to look at these two, look at each other, and go, "Let's go for it." Nigel was saying to Eubank in Ben Eubank 1, "Let's have it. I'm not turning up there for a party. Let's just have it." The only difference is Nigel had world-class experience, Doug DeWitt, R.M. Barkley, in doing that, in getting on the front foot and saying all or nothing.
But if you're Roy, that fight suits Ben. It don't suit Eubank, right? If you're Roy Jones Jr., you know that fight suits Ben. It doesn't suit Eubank.
First things first, I don't know that Roy Jones Jr. will be in the corner. You know, we look today. Well, I heard the news today with regards to Tyson Fury and who he may or may not have in his corner. You know, boxers have completely taken over, and I was an advocate of this. Boxers have completely taken over. They are involved in the decision making, and there you have it. What else can you say?
I think beyond the competition, for me, this fight's clearly about the money. It makes the most money now. Do it now. Is there a rematch if Ben loses?
Finances dictate. If it's an engrossing, enthralling fight, then of course the clamour for a return will, and perhaps they'll adjust depending, on how these things are set out. And by set out, I mean the penalties that I think it was Chris Eubank referred to, hundreds of thousands of pounds, monies for a pound in weight. And they're draconian. They really, really are. But it means the public won't be cheated out of some excitement. I must say this, I've never felt, at times of exertion, I've never felt that drinking copious amounts of liquid or water has done me any good. Probably the first couple of mouthfuls, but then after that it just makes your belly swell. Which reminds me, when we were kids, we used to go around having drinking competitions with water and then punch the kid in the belly. I thought I had to get that in to show, but it's one of the tricks that it takes place when you're in camp. Yeah, that's. I mean, I hear what you say when you're emphatic that Chris will win. This Ben.
I mean, it's always 50-50, as Tyson Fury taught me early. 2 men, 2 arms, fighting out, it's always 50-50. But I just think the favourite is overwhelming in this fight because I can't see what Ben brings to the table that dismantles Eubank.
This fight will be decided 7 days before the outcome. That's when everybody's done the job. We heard lots of conversation about applications of the task. Those who have committed themselves, those who have not committed themselves. It's going to be interesting.
Great fight for the fans, no matter what we say, I guess. Be a spectacle, be an occasion. And they're going to round off the year quite nicely, I think, in October. I don't think there's going to be a bigger fight nationally, anyway, domestically.
Well, there's a small matter of a fight next week. Amongst the Golden Sands.
I'm talking about domestic British fighters.
We're talking about a British fighter who's going out.
No, I'm talking about 2 British fighters.
I understand. I'm just teasing you.
That teased me. I mean, good luck to him. How do you think that one will go? Well, we've got you.
I know what I want to happen. I want a Nigerian to remember that he's a Nigerian, to go out there and remember that you're allowed one blatant foul in boxing, blatant, and then you just bow like a mama and hope that the referee doesn't deduct a point, because then you can go and do the same thing again with a similar result, except for you would be deducted the second time round.
For those who are watching, we're talking about Joshua, just in case you lost.
So Joshua, surround yourself with excellence. If you want to affect change, you must make huge sacrifices. And on here, what he has got to do is to get mad. He's got to put some madness on people, and everybody that's around him has got to be in hate, hateful tones, guttural demeanour, manners and everything else, like he was when he first had his first amateur fight. That will get him through this. Other than that, you've got somebody who's got a game plan to go through 12 rounds. If it comes earlier, he'll have it. I say to AJ, I would love to have got the call from you, because I've run camps before in the face of adversity. I hope you've got somebody who thinks like myself. If you do, then it increases your chances. If you don't, well, you took your choice, and you'll undoubtedly pay the price.
Yeah, well, I was
Whenever.
Were you surprised he didn't make more changes?
Yeah. I got to say, I'm disappointed that he didn't make more changes. because of the strategic importance of this fight. We've got all these incredible cruiserweights coming up behind to go into the, I think Lawrence Okoli's going in no time, Richard Riakporhe, we saw that wonderful performance last week with Isaac Chamberlain. We all want him to come back. He's kind of like the Derek Chisora of another generation. But it's an exciting time. Listen, you've stuck that microphone in front of my face on so many occasions, so many times. Have we seen incremental increases in ability and opportunities presented? Yes. Yeah, we have. And long may it continue.
Ambrose Mendy, thanks for your time. We'll talk again.
Yeah, we'll talk again. Don't know when.
Don't know why.
What she said?
That's what she said.
Is that what she said?